From Jamil, Jaffer, founder, executive director of the National Security Institute over at George Mason. Always good to have you on, Jamil. All right, let's hope for the best here, that these hostages out. But now, ceasefires in effect, phase one. What are your thoughts on it in terms of how we move phase to phase here?
Well, Connell, it's kind of amazing. I think nobody thought the president could pull this off, much less pull it off in the way that he has, which is to say the Israelis have gone first. They've moved back to this yellow line that the president sort of drew with Steve Witkoff and his team, Jared Kushner, on the map that has basically pulled the Israelis out of Gaza City, out of Khan Yunis. Now they're in this position where they're no longer attacking parts of Gaza and they've withdrawn their forces to a certain level. That now means that Hamas has to go next, and they have to turn over all 50 or so, 49 or so of the remaining hostages, about 25 of whom we believe are alive, the other 24, 25 of whom we believe are dead, to turn over their bodies. If they do that in the next 72 hours, then the Israeli troops will move back further, and we'll have a real discussion about what comes next. Hamas has to disarm and remove themselves from control. But if this really happens, I mean, this could be the kind of thing, frankly, Connell, that could get somebody the Nobel Peace Prize. I realize the president didn't get it this time.
No.
I think nobody expected that. But I mean, look, if you're able to make peace in the Middle East, sort of that phrase, I mean, that'd be interesting.
They do give it out each year, so there's always next year. I guess you never know. I want to go to the tablet and run through some of what you were talking about there, piece by piece, phase by phase. And this is what Jamil's saying as you move backwards from one level to another, starting where the current line is and basically moving back this way towards the border with Israel. So we go in the current phase one, that yellow line, the initial withdrawal. Now, what do we do? Hostages, the 20 living hostages, of course, is what people have been talking about Monday or Tuesdays, what the president has been saying. All the remaining hostages should be out by then, but it doesn't mean we don't have questions. You brought up disarming and how that could be done. Also, who governs? What does post-war Gaza look like now? What's your best guess, knowing what we know?
Yeah, look, it's anybody's guess, I think, Connell. One, what we know for sure is that Hamas will have to disarm. They'll have to leave power. And then there will be some sort of who knows, an international potential. We've heard about Tony Blair being touted as a potential administrator temporarily. But eventually what will happen is the PA, the Palestinian Authority, will go through some level of reforms. We don't know what that means. And then they'll take over control. Now, for them to do that, they'll have to have somebody who's legitimate in Gaza. And there were former Palestinian Authority officials who were from Gaza, who had some legitimacy there. Problem is they've been gone since 2007, since Hamas took over, and it's not clear they have the right legitimacy to be able to govern that part of the Palestinian territory. So we'll see what happens, but that's probably what's next.
If something trips this up, what would it be? I mean, there's always something in the Middle East, maybe multiple things that would concern you. What about this time around? I understand the optimism, considering where we've been about this. What would trip it up?
Well, look, a lot of things trip this up. Number one, the Hamas doesn't hand all the hostages over. Number two, Israel decides there's another threat and they have to undertake another incursion into Gaza further beyond the lines of withdrawal. And then, of course, any type of terrorist attack into Israel could provoke a response from Israel. It could come from the Houthis in Yemen. It could come from, Hezbollah. It's largely been necked down now. Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Iran controls and funds a lot of these groups. They want to throw a wrench in this effort. They want to prevent the Israelis, the Saudis, Emiratis, and Qataris from coming together, recognizing Israel on one side and them legitimizing the Arab states and engaging in trade. The Iranians don't want that. They're largely harmed by this effort. We'll see what they do and what their response is to all what's going on.
Man, it's kind of distracted looking down at that stock market. It's weird to see the Dow down about 700. It's been a rough day. That's a lot to do with China, which we'll talk about coming up. Jamil, let's hope for the best this weekend in the Middle East. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, Connell.
Jamil, Jaffer at 16 past the hour.